Before we go any further, I want to show everybody, if you look, you're going to see body work that has been done throughout the car. There's another one right here. Actually, two of them. And then if we look at that front fender, there's some body work that had to be redone as well. This imperfection right here, I'm going to let everybody know, we will not be able to get this out 100%. The only way to get rid of this buckle, I'm calling it a buckle, is we would have to cut this out, find another fender, and fit the piece in. At one time, this fender was hit seriously real hard right on the corner here, and it buckled that fender up. I've done everything I could. I mean, I've done body work to that area several times. Now, what I'll do to compensate, I will go ahead and add some more polyester filler to that to blend it in. And hopefully, the prime job the 2K primer will fill that in and feather it all out. We went ahead and got this side done as well, top and bottom. Now, I split my cars, when I block sand, I split them in sections. So on this particular car, just on the fender here, we have three sections. We have the top of the fender, actually we have four. We have the top of the fender, we have the top half of the side of the fender, and then we have the bottom section of the fender, and then the fourth would actually be the front section. This vehicle was seriously damaged from front to back, side to side, top to bottom. So I did extreme body work to this car, and you could go back in the video archives and see that. On this rear quarter panel here, we could not find another quarter panel. I searched high and low around the world and could not find an NOS rear quarter panel for this car, so we ended up replacing the bottom of it down there and then keeping the rest, and we also replaced the bottom section of it right in here, which was a very, very tricky job. That job right there was very tricky. So after almost 2 weeks of painstakingly sanding this down by hand, and we're talking full days, we're not talking 1 hour here and 3 hours there, I forgot to mention the roof, and I got to block this out up here. I got to get that blocked out real quick, but I forgot to mention the roof. He decided to have that sandblasted inside and out too. And you can see the roof doesn't have any type of structure inside it. It's basically a one-panel job. So by doing so, yes, it warped the roof. I ended up doing body work to that 3 times, plus polyester primer, plus 2K primer. So we did body work to this 3 times. We 2K primed it 3 times, one time with polyester, and now the hood is back in original situation. And of course, that's after using my dent pullers, shrinking discs, slap hammers, and dollies. So if you remember, there was an imperfection right here in that area. And I'm going to give you a little example of speed blocking instead of hand sanding. Speed blocking is much better if you got the right proper tools and you know how to use them. These are speed blocks. It's going to cut your time in half, and you're going to have a razor sharp straight car. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this, but I'm not going to push real hard. Okay, I'm just going to let the sander itself do the job that I need. And you can see how I'm sanding this. I'm sanding it in all directions. And what I'm watching for, let me get my other tool, hang on. If you don't have one of these, get one. This is a dust control tool, and it's a tool that you need to use for block sanding. Forget the air hose. The air hose is going to make nothing but a mess. But what I'm doing with my 80 grit, and you can basically see I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm just sanding it lightly, and that's what a speed block is good for. What we're going to do is we're going to take our flat speed block, all right, the number 7005 from R&H Products, And we are going to block that out using our block, but I'm not going to use a lot of pressure once again. And now we got 180. Now I'm using a little bit more pressure than I was on this one. This one here is it's a Bondo dog. This one here will cut it quick. So you want to be real careful and not use a lot of pressure with that. But when it comes to this one, you're going to use a little bit more pressure than you did with that one. And for anybody that wants to know, this is a 7004 from R&H Products, and that one's a 7005. And then I'll take my 180. And this is how you clean these off. Do you see that? Like I said, forget the air and all this other stuff. This is what you need when you're block sanding, dry sanding. Okay, that's the tool. And then just to be on the safe side, okay, that's already feathered out right there. All right, so we're done with that. Let's get this car outside and move to the next procedure. All right, I'll go ahead and clean my shop out really good. It's going to take about an hour, hour and a half. And then once that's done, this should be dry. Go ahead and pull it back in. Going to put it back on the stands. And then we are going to put our final and last coat of primer on this thing so we can do our final and last block job before paint.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
Alright, so what I'm doing is I am spot priming all of the areas that we had to redo bodywork on, and also where I busted through the primer. Very important step. I'm going to go ahead and put probably 2 coats, maybe 3, and then what we'll do is we'll come back and block sand the whole car again with 180, and then either go into 400 wet or 320, and then it'll be ready for paint. This is what it takes if you want it done right. Alright, what you're looking at is I went ahead and applied the 3 or 4, I don't even remember now, it's been so long, full wet coats of the super high build on our damaged hood, our non-replaceable, irreplaceable, one-of-a-kind hood that goes to our beautiful Mercedes in the background. And what I'm doing is I'm actually air filing this with 80 grit. This is a very, very hard primer, and it's very, very super thick. I don't know if you noticed, but I already had a guide coat on it. What I'm doing, I'm taking my air file and I'm sanding this down using my air file until all of the orange peel is gone. Then I will immediately stop there and start hand sanding it. So the last thing that we did to this is we went ahead and did our final spot prime on it. After I blocked it out with 180, I completely blocked the whole car out with 180 using this type of a block right here. Very important if you want your car to be laser straight. You've got to use the right blocks for the right situations. And to block a car like this, the right situation is this block right here. This is just one of them. Go back into the video and you'll see what we're talking about. But what we're doing now, we are actually getting this ready to paint in the paint booth. And what many body shop girls doing is, what are you sanding over here?
I don't know, some part.
Okay, that's our European
License plate holder.
license plate holder. That's the German style license plate holder. Now, I saw that you were using 80 grit on that. I thought this was paint ready.
Not this piece.
Okay.
So
this is actually the first prime job on it after the bodywork, I guess.
yeah, it's got some really deep
Yeah, look at them deep scratches.
So
Yeah.
I'm using 80.
Now, you want to go ahead and put a guide coat on that to help you out, or you think you can just do it without
No,
that?
I'm all right.
Because this piece is actually hidden, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
So
be
we're
fine.
just going to block that down, get all the deep scratches and gouges, and then go straight into 180 on that particular item.
180 to 320, yeah.
Okay, because that's under the car, and you don't really see it. It's in between the two fenders under the grill and the
Yeah,
bumper.
it's
All
like-
right. Yeah, it goes under the car, but that's not where it goes, but yeah. So that's basically where we're standing on our 76 Mercedes. We're really moving along on this after 2 years, and I think that it's coming out awesome. Oh, man. Whew. Okay, I just got done prepping the deck lid for its final primer job. Now remember, I went ahead and put Super Build, High Build on this, the Evercoat brand, and it is right now, let's see what time it is, because, all right, you can see that right there. It's 4:18. I've been working on this and the hood. That's all I've worked on all day since 8 o'clock this morning. I took a 1 hour lunch and I just wrapped it up. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Well, if you remember correctly, I'm talking about prep job and I'm talking about paint jobs and I'm talking about doing it right and making sure everything is in check. And yeah, I still got to put one more coat of primer on that to get this in check and to make it paint ready. All right, so we got the hood in the paint booth. The hood is ready for its final prime job now. I blocked this down with my airfoil, you saw that, and then I blocked it down by hand with 80 grit, and then I went back over it with 180. And the hood came out really, really nice. For what this hood was, I'm going to be honest with you, it came out excellent. So we're going to put 2 full wet coats of 2K primer on it, and then I think this is ready for its final sand job. I had to go ahead and reform these holes for our wipers to fit in, and I had to use a little file on that, and that took a few seconds to get that done, which I said a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get this stuff in the paint booth. Let me get my 2 coats of paint on it, and then we're on the downhill slide, because what we're doing next is getting this ready for paint. That should be ready for paint next week by the latest, and many of the body shop girls should have it taped off so my friend Pete can get the midnight blue on the Nightmare Mercedes. Okay, I just got done block sanding this side of the car with 180. Now I got to go over it with 320, and then this side of the car is paint ready. Now we're going to be using a black epoxy primer on this due to the fact that the car is going to be deep midnight blue. So this car will get a full coat of black epoxy primer right before the paint. If you look real close right here, you can see where I did body work in this area at one time, or possibly it might be a buildup of the polyester primer, that this hole is not perfectly round. Another problem we have, even the holes that are perfectly round have 3 to 6 coats of primer buildup on them. So when we go to put the piece of molding back on and the clips that go in here, they're not going to fit properly. So what I do, once I get it, and this is only before I paint it, this is only before I do the final sand job or whatever you want to say it is I get my drills out and I find the drill that fits the hole, and it looks like it's this one here. This is a little bit smaller. We don't want exact size, because if our drill slips to the left or the right or up and down, it's going to make that hole bigger. So we want it just a little bit smaller. And then what I'll do is I will take my drill, whether it's cordless or air drill, whatever, and I will clean the hole out, just like that. And I want you to pay close attention to this hole that I'm getting ready to clean out. Once again, I'm only taking my drill and I'm wobbling it out lightly to clean the edges. Did you see all that fell out? That's primer buildup, and possibly maybe a little bit of Bondo or polyester filler that built up around that hole. If you don't clean these holes out, the moldings will not fit properly. And even down here on the rocker panel, we're going to go ahead and take our drill and clean these holes up as well. Put this one back in here, and that one there's too big, so we're going to go down a size. Matter of fact, we're going to go down 2 sizes. There you go, right there, that's it. So I'll take my drill and I'm just going to run it in there just like that, nice and slow. I am very excited to see what this thing's going to look like, and I'm going to tell you why, is because this was a major concourse restoration. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like as a finished product, me, myself, Pete. Normally, I don't get that excited about it. I'm more into get the job done, get it out of the shop, and get on the next job. All right, what I'm doing here, I'm finalizing up on the block sanding on our Mercedes, and this is the final 320. This is the end of it. I have block sanded this thing till my toenails are purple. I can't block sand no more. It's pretty much a done deal. As you can see, by sanding it with 320, it just makes a perfect paint ready surface. By using this, it's going to make our panels come out a lot straighter. We're going to have nice straight panels. When you look down like this, it's not going to look all ripply and wavy. So it's really important to use this sander right here. And I call them speed files, okay? Go back into my videos on this channel, and I think I got several detailed videos that will explain what this is. And I don't know if you can see it over there, but I got a very bright shop light shining on this. And the reason I do that is for the shadows. Even though I got the door open, I got the other light coming this way, and I can see everything perfectly in the 2 lights as they connect. It's always important to have good lighting when you're sanding a car like this. Okay, we're in the process of painting our Mercedes Benz. So what we're going to do, and we're going to go in there and look at the car. Minnie, the body shop girl, just got it taped off and put in primer. You see where we're at here? We're in the frickin' desert, so we got to be really careful with our paint. And we got to make sure that it's all covered up tightly so micro dust doesn't get in it. But we're going to be painting this car midnight blue, which is a very dark blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting epoxy primer on it, black epoxy primer, before I put any paint on it at all. Alright, so we're at the point right now where it's time to go ahead and apply the paint to the vehicle. Now the way that we are going to paint this car, we are going to do a double clear job on it. That means that we're going to put the paint on it, I'm going to apply 2 coats of clear, I'll let that dry for a couple days, I'll come back and block sand that out with 1500, and then I will clear it again with 3 coats of clear. The owner requested that he wants a concourse showboat restoration job. That's what we're trying to give him here. The problem that we have with this particular car is it had major body work.
If you notice, Pete's kind of got a little system going on how he actually paints the car. That way everything all blends together and he doesn't have an extreme amount of paint in any one section from overlap.
We just got done laying the epoxy primer approximately 10 minutes ago. I gotta let this dry for 30-45 minutes, maybe an hour. It is the middle of the summer here. But I want me to get that camera and I want you to go down that side, get as close as you can where you get a nice angle. I want to show everybody how awesome, look at that. Look at the bodywork on that. Lower the camera down a little bit. Now bring it out to your wife. No, out. Look at that right there. Kind of walk down, there you go. And the body shop camera, girl. Very intense bodywork job on this. A lot more bodywork than I anticipated for, but I think the car is going to be awesome. I think it's going to come out great. And now, I don't know if they explained it to you or not, but the way that I paint cars, I try to find a starting point and a cutoff point. And that's probably why you saw me moving around from rocker pedal, back to front, because I was trying to find where I need to start so I can stop in the same spot and get the roof so there's no dryness in the roof. That's very important to find your road map to go around the car. We're going to let this dry. You can see by putting the epoxy primer on here, the blue, the midnight blue, dark midnight blue, it should lay down very nice, and we should get a very consistent, awesome paint job on this vehicle. I don't even want to get close to it. I'm afraid if I spit on it, if I talk too loud, I might spit. I got a little bit of a slur because of this. Hopefully soon we're going to be getting rid of that. But if I get too close and I talk loud, we got spit going. It's a slur. Like there's nothing I can do.
Don't talk so loud.
Well, sometimes we got to talk loud for people to understand the situation at hand. What are you thinking, Minnie, the body shop girl? I'll tell you what, this was, I would put this on the top 5 of the worst restorations. Yes, Southwest Rod Custom, my friend Pete's done, so I don't know, probably top 10. I've been in business a long time. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get the paint on there. We're gonna get the clear. We don't need to see that in action. You're gonna see the situation. We're gonna get our first coat of clear on it, and we'll see you as we're color sanding it to put the final show quality clear on the vehicle.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.